Hi guys, in this video I'm going to be talking about BTEC Level 3 Unit 3, the different ways to pay, which is part of personal finance. Now in my previous video I talked about the functions and roles of money. So if you haven't watched that video, you can click on the previous video and watch me talk about functions and roles of money. But one of the functions of money that was talked about was means of exchange. That means that you can use money to pay for things, but there's not only one way to pay, there are many different ways to pay. So in this video, I'm going to go through the different methods of paying. Now the first obvious one is cash. Cash is notes and coins used in a wide range of values. Now what are the advantages and disadvantages of using cash? The advantages and disadvantages of cash is that it makes budgeting easier, it's the most widely accepted form of payment, and you feel confident using it. However, the disadvantages of cash is that it can get stolen and it cannot be used online. A debit card. A debit card is issued by banks for payments for goods and services which will be directly deducted from your account. What are the advantages and disadvantages of a debit card? The advantages are you don't need to carry cash, it's a secure way of paying, and it's suitable for online transactions. However, the disadvantages of a debit card is that it can cause overspending and is not suitable for small transactions. A credit card. A credit card is issued by financial institutions such as banks, which allows consumers to delay payments for goods and services. So for example, if you purchase something today, you might not have to pay for it for the next 30 days or the next 15 days because that's the amount of credit that has been agreed. Now, what is the advantages and disadvantages of a credit card? The advantages of a credit card is that loyalty schemes are offered, for example, club cards. It's widely accepted and it's suitable for online transaction. However, the disadvantages of a credit card is that it can cause overspending and interest is charged. Now, what is interest? Interest is a cost of borrowing. So if you're going to borrow money from a bank or another financial institution, you have to pay a charge for the money that you're borrowing. A check. A check is a written order to the bank to make a payment for a specific amount that goes from one account holder to another account holder. What are the advantages and disadvantages of a check? The advantages of a check is that it's low-risk form of payment. It's widely accepted for face-to-face and postal transactions. However, the disadvantages of a check is that it's old-fashioned, which means that not that many people use it anymore. And errors can be made when writing the check. For example, you could make an error about how much money should be given, or you could make an error about the amount of money that needs to be transferred. Electronic transfer. Electronic transfer is payment that is transferred directly from one account to another account. What are the advantages and disadvantages of electronic transfer? The advantages of electronic transfer is that there are no additional cost. It's easy to use. However, the disadvantage of electronic transfer is that there's risk of losing money if you do set up the transfer wrong. So you could set it up wrong by transferring it to the wrong person. A direct debit. A direct debit is an agreement made with a third party to take out money from your account on a set day to pay for the goods and services that you receive. What are the advantages and disadvantages of a direct debit? The advantages of a direct debit is that it's an easy way to make regular payments. It's quick and easy. However, the disadvantages of a direct debit is that the third party determines amount, so it's very hard to budget. So the third party will determine how much money comes out of your account each month or each time you pay, which means that you don't exactly know the amount that's going to be taken, which means that you can't budget around that. A standing order. A standing order is an agreement made with the bank to transfer a fixed sum of money to a third party to withdraw money from your account on a set day to pay for goods and services. Now, the difference between a direct debit and a standing order is that on a standing order, it's a fixed sum of money, whereas a direct debit does not have a fixed sum of money. Let's look into the advantages and disadvantages of a standing order. The advantages of a standing order is that same amount is paid, so it's easy to budget. So that means, for example, your phone bill, you pay the same amount each month, which means that you can budget, as you know how much money is going to be taken out of your bank account at the end of each month. It's easy to set up and use, and you don't need to remember when you need to pay. However, the disadvantages of a standing order is that payments will be taken regardless of how much balance you have in your bank account. A prepaid card. A prepaid card is a card with money loaded on it. Then the money can be used up to the amount loaded, for example, an Oyster card. So for example, in your Oyster card, if you top up with £10, that means you can use that Oyster card until that £10 is over. What are the advantages and disadvantages of a prepaid card? The advantages of a prepaid card is that you can set a budget, so that means that you're not overspending, and it's an effective way of controlling the amount of money that you spend. However, the disadvantages of a prepaid card is that there's no protection if you lose it, and you might require a fee to set up the card. A contactless card. A contactless card is a card containing a transmitter which allows money to be transferred when the card touches the contactless monitor. So in other words, it's a card that you can use without having to enter your PIN. So you just touch the card on the monitor and it will take your money without having you to enter your PIN. Now, what are your advantages and disadvantages of a contactless card? The advantages of a contactless card is that it's becoming a lot more popular. More people are knowing about it, which means it's a lot more easier to use. As it's becoming a lot more popular, more stores have it, and it's a secure way of paying. However, the disadvantages of a contactless card is it can only be used for small transactions. Now, most stores have a limit of £30, so you cannot buy more than £30 on contactless, and it's not widely accepted. A charge card. A charge card is given by a financial institution which allows a consumer to delay their payment for goods and services for a short amount of time. Then you pay that off in full when the statement is issued. What are the advantages and disadvantages of a charge card? An advantage of a charge card is that you reduce risk of having any debts and you don't need to carry cash. However, the disadvantages of a charge card is that the payment must be paid in full each month, and they might have an annual fixed fee. What's a store card? A store card is given by a retail store so that the consumer can delay their payments for goods and services. It's like a credit card, but only that it's issued by a specific store. What are the advantages and disadvantages of a store card? The advantages is that there's a short period of credit, and that short period of credit is interest-free, so you don't have to pay a charge. And consumers get loyalty schemes and discounts. However, the disadvantage of a store card is that it's only accepted in the store that is issued the card, so you can't use that card in any other store. And you pay interest on any outstanding balances. And it encourages overspending, which could lead to debt. Mobile banking. What is mobile banking? Mobile banking is carrying out financial transactions using your mobile device, for example, a phone or a tablet. What are the advantages and disadvantages of mobile banking? The advantages of mobile banking is that it can be used by any time and any place. However, the disadvantages of mobile banking is that there are limited features compared to internet banking. Bankers' Automated Clearing Service, or fast payment. So that is a system that transfers payment from one account to another. However, payments can be received up to 3 days after the transfer. What are the advantages and disadvantages of the banker's automated clearing service? The advantages is that it's fast payment, so some transfers are guaranteed within 2 hours, and there are no additional cost. However, the disadvantages are that there is a limit on the amount of money that can be transferred. Now, the clearinghouse automated payment system. Now, this is a system that transfers payments from one account to another, and payments will be received on the same day of the transaction. What are the advantages and disadvantages of the clearinghouse automated payment system? The advantages is that there is no limit on the amount of money that can be transferred. However, the disadvantage is that there is a fixed charge on the transaction. Hopefully this video was useful and you guys found out more about the different methods of payment. Now you can use these questions to test your knowledge. You can pause and test your knowledge and answer these questions. If you like this video, then give it a like, subscribe, and follow my Instagram for more video updates.